Hey everyone, welcome to episode 21 on our Linux series. In this episode, we are going to discuss about file permissions. By the end of this episode, you will be in a position to deal with all kind of file ownership model available in your Linux. So in this video, we are going to briefly discuss about what exactly is the file ownership, how exactly it works in Linux. Secondly, we will try to understand what are the different kind of file ownership modes available in Linux, followed by how exactly it can be controlled using chmod. Finally, we will try to see some of the advanced command with associated to file permissions, which is nothing but chown and chgrp, how exactly it works and how we can use it in your Linux system. So without any further delay, let's jump into the topic now. When it comes to file ownership in Linux, every file or every folder which is present in a Linux machine has to be associated with a user, followed by a group which the user is part of, right? So normally the user has to be the owner of the file. Without a owner, a file or a directory cannot present in the Linux. So that is why the user management or the ownership management in Linux is very pivotal if you are dealing with so many files and folders within the Linux, right? So every file which you see in Linux is associated with a group, which we have understood in our previous episode. By the way, if you have not watched our previous episode, please watch it. There is the link to the episode in the pin comment. Please watch it before jumping into this episode. Just a disclaimer, right? So moving back, so every file is associated with a group which has the interest or which has the overall ownership to that particular file or the folder within the Linux system, right? And every file has certain rights, which can be either a read, write, or execute. So these are the three kind of permission which we have in the Linux ownership model you can consider. So what does it mean? As simple as that, read means you just read the file, write, you can edit the file, execute, you can execute. For example, for a shell script or for code, you need to have the execute permission for a file to get it executed or run it within your Linux machine. So that is why these three permissions are lying within your Linux. How it can be controlled? So there are three types of command which we use in Linux to manage the ownership model of a file. So what are these? First is your chown, second is your chgrp, third is your chmod, right? So chown we used to change the ownership or change the user who should own that particular file or a folder or a directory within the Linux. How exactly it works, we'll see it in a couple of minutes. Finally, if you want to change the group permission, right, or else you want to provide a ownership to a particular group with a number of users to a directory, you can do that as well. How we do? We use command called a chgroup or chgrp to control the group permission of a particular file or folder, right? Finally, chmod, what exactly it is, we will come into it in certain time. But without any further delay, let's jump into our terminal to see how exactly the ownership works in Linux. So whenever we log into Linux, you might have seen the files and folders in this particular pattern when we run ls-l. So this shows multiple information we have seen in our previous videos. So here the ownership is exactly this particular denomination which we are trying to understand within this episode, right? So when it comes to ownership, these informations are very important. What it is? So for a particular file and folder, this is the information which tells you whether this file or folder is owned by which user and which group. For example, for this particular file, the user is Ubuntu and the group which is part of it is Ubuntu by default, or by its nature, who has created, he has got the permission. As simple as that. Always remember, first is the user who owns this particular file. Second is the group permission of that particular file and folder, right? Let's say I want to change the ownership of this particular file from Ubuntu to user Rahul. How I will do? I use a command called as chown followed by the user. For example, the user can be Rahul followed by the file name. And this is a elevated command for which it requires a sudo to run it. So sudo I'll provide and the ownership is changed. How to check? Again, I can do ls-l. I can see this has been changed to user Rahul, which means this Rahul user has the ownership to this file. He can do any sort of thing which he wants Not everything, we'll come to that. Wait for a second. But the group Ubuntu has all the ownership to this particular file. Whoever a part of this particular group can do many things as they like, right? As simple as that. Now, I want to change the group ownership of this file as well. I can do that as well. How I will do? The command which I can use is sudo chgrp. Let's say I have a group called as DevOps, followed by the file name. I will enter, and if I do ls-l, I can see the ownership has changed. Now, the user owns this file, and the group of DevOps and who are the users part of this group are the owner of this file. So this is how we do manage the ownership using chown and chgroup for a particular file and folder. And this command works for the directories as well. So if I want to combiningly change the owner of the file, user as well as group, I can do that as well. What the command I can use sudo chown -capital R followed by the user, which I want to give Ubuntu, let's say, and group will be Ubuntu. If I want to change the ownership of the user as well as group, I can use chown to do that as well. So if I do followed by the file, I can do that as well. If I do again ls-l, I can see this file has permission. So this way also you can do. You can use chown to change the permission of to user as well as group, or you can use chgroup as well. Both way it works, right? So this is how you change the permission, right? Now coming back. So now let's say if you see this files, right? So here you can see these are some of the denomination which is available in Linux, or you might have seen in all the practice sessions as well. What exactly is this? So this is nothing but your file permission. So what exactly is a file permission model which works in Linux? That is the topic. So when it comes to a file or a folder, very specifically files can have three different kind of permission model in Linux. What are these? As I mentioned, it can have a write, it can have read, it can have execute permission, right? Execute only very specifically for the codes, right? But these kind of three maximum permissions which we can provide to a particular file, right? So this permission affect three total group of owners. Who are they? The user or the owner of the file. Second, the group, and the others. Others means who are the other users in the Linux system can have the permission to do whatever they want to do, and we can control that within the Linux. So that is what exactly the Linux file permission model which we do it, right? How it exactly looks. If you see this file here, you can see this looks something different, this looks something different. This is nothing but Linux tells you what exactly the file permission model that particular file or folder is holding, right? How it exactly works. For example, let's say you have something like this. So very carefully understand. So it has three sections, okay? Three sections which normally it has. So if I want to segregate, I can segregate something like this. This is my first section. This is my third section. This is the second section, and this is my third section. What exactly it is, right? So the first section is tell you the permission for the user. The second three characters tells you what exactly the group is having the permission. The third tells you what others are having the permissions. It is very important conceptually. Okay, once you get out of this class, there will be very limited opportunity to understand in this grassroots level. So try to understand very deeply, right? So these are the three sections. So Linux let us to control all these things within our file permission or file permission model, right? How exactly it works. Now, in this, there are two things, right? So here, before coming into the three level of permission for user, group, and others, there are one more letter or extra letter which is there for file and folder case, right? So if you want to segregate between a file and folder, there are multiple ways. We have learned it in our previous episodes, but as perspective of file permission, you can segregate that as well. How you do? So if a file permission starts with this symbol, you can consider this is a file. If it starts with the D, you can consider it's a directory. Very important, very conceptual thing. Most of the time it is asked in the interviews. If you see this, then you can denominate that this is a file and this is a folder. How? File starts with this symbol and folder starts with D symbol. So that is the first character of the permission layer, right? Now coming back to the three layer. Now for this file, I can consider this file the user has, which is Ubuntu, has read write permission. The group of people who are part of this Ubuntu group having read write permission. And finally, others who are present in the system like user, Rahul, XYZ and all that, they only have read permission. So they cannot write anything to this particular file. Now I want to change the permission label of this. How I will do? I will use command called as chmod, and I will change the user permission from read write to read write execute, and the group permission I will change it to read and execute, and others I will change it to read and execute, right? So this is where I can do it, and I will change the and provide the file. And if I hit enter and I will do ls-l, I can see the file permission has changed. Now it has changed to rwx, which means read write executable to the current user or the owner who is the part. The group has the read and execute permission. Blank or dot means the write column is not there. And finally, others are having read and execute permission. This is where we can do it. But don't you think it's kind of a little bit complex, or like, little bit difficult at the first go to manage it? Linux has simplified it to change the permission or ownership model of a file or control it with some concept known as your octal permissions. Very important what exactly it is. So if you don't want to do it in this way, using octal permission or providing octal permission, you can control the permission of a file or file as well. How it is being done? So as I mentioned, there are three symbols: read, write, and execute. So what Linux does is it converts or assigns the value to this particular symbols to a binary value. How? So read has the binary value of 100, write has the binary value of 010 or 10, or X has the binary value of 001. How exactly it is? Normally all the options, symbols, executable, whatever you have, right? Computer understands only binary language. So the binary symbol of these symbols are denominated as this, as simple as that. And if you convert it to decimal value, it comes as 4. And if you convert the write of 010, it will come as 2. And if you convert the executable permission from binary 1 to 1, it will come as 1. How exactly conversion from binary to decimal happens? You can just if you know, which is good. If you don't know, then I can provide a link in the description. You can follow it. It is quite easy, and it's a very fundamental functionality in computer science. You must be knowing. If you're not, don't worry. I will provide a very good video. You can refer it, right? But just to coming back to our topic, the binary which will be converted into 4 to 1. Now, what we need to do at part of octal permission is we need to create a number for every permission which we want to create, and we can provide it to chown, and we can change the permission of a file and folder. How exactly it calculated? For example, as I mentioned, read will have or decimal octal read will have the decimal number as 4, write as 2, and X as 1, right? For example, let's say I want to give rwx permission to user or others or group. How I will do is I will do add it 4 plus 2 plus 1, which will come as 7. And similarly, I can convert all the permission to something number like this, and I can create a number something like this. For example, let's say I want to, in my example, I have given user read write x and group rx and others as rx. What I will do is rwx denominates as 7, and rx will be 5, right? And again, the users which I have given rx, again 5. So this is a octal number or a number which I can create, and I can provide it to chown, and I can define a permission to it. Similarly, let's say everybody I want to have the read, write, and executable permission. So what it will come? 7 rwx rwx rwx. So the number will be 777. Let's say I want to give everyone read, write permission, which was the previous option. So how it will come? It will come as 666. Right? So this is how you create a decimal number, or octal number, and you provide it to the chown, and you change the permission of a file and a folder. For example, let's say we will switch back to read write permission to the build file. How I will do? I will use chmod followed by, let's say I want to provide read write to everyone. I will just give 666 and followed by the file. If I do ls-l, I can see it has changed to permission rw. Now, if again I want to switch, what I can do? I can do chmod followed by 755 followed by the file. Right? If I do ls-l, I can see it has changed. Right? Now I will do give chmod 777, means everyone has all the access to this file. And if I do ls-l. Here you can see the permission has changed. So this is how you play with the file permissions, and this is how Linux helps you to manage it efficient way. And this is a very interesting topic and very useful topic which we use in a production environment. And trust me, it has so many applications. You might be knowing. If you don't know, then try to practice as much as you can, because it is not only going to help you to do your job better, but also let you to perform well in the interviews, because this is a very fundamental question which every interviewer loves to ask. So hope you have got it. If not, please let me know your thoughts or doubts in the comment box, or join our Discord community if you have not joined it already. So with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for watching. See you next video.